Alright, we're here for week 5 of EUDL. The second last week of regular season. It's a 6-week season. I think I've mentioned that before. So we got this one, the next week, and then everybody makes playoffs. So you get at least 2 more after this. If I play well, you'll get more, but only time will tell for that. Okay, so my opponent this week has a very offensive team. A lot of speed, a lot of high attack stats, and a lot of overall just kind of I'm gonna blow you up. So let's go through it. First, we got Houndoom. Possesses all 3 of those things I just mentioned. 95 speed is pretty solid. 110 attack is very good. And then this thing also gets nasty plot. He gets nasty with it. He's got 3 nasty plot mons, and all of them are good. He can very easily bring it. Not to mention, like, physical Houndoom, like, isn't necessarily an impossible thing to see. It just can't, like, set up as well as it can with nasty plot, so you probably won't see it, but, like, if he was on that demon timing, he could do it. But I don't anticipate to see it. I anticipate Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, Nasty Plot, something like that. Maybe like a Flame Charge in there, but yeah, this thing's gonna be fast. It's gonna blow. It's gonna has a high special attack stat, and it's gonna use it to try and kill things. And then we got Simipour, who does the exact same thing. A little faster, but a little weaker. Still gets nasty plot, and this thing, for its special side, doesn't get a lot of coverage. But you can always just throw. You could be Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Nasty Plot, and then throw any of these coverage moves on there if you want. You can be just straight up physical with like a berry, and then you get like acro stuff. There's lots of stuff that Simipour does. I actually really wanted to use this Pokemon, but he got stolen from me, so QQ. But yeah, no, this thing, it's basically just Houndoom number 2, but it's a water type. Yeah, it gets Gluttony, right? So you can do those berry stuffs a little more effectively if you want to do an acro set. Then you got Doug. This thing is very fast. Thankfully, Cryogonal's fast enough to make it run Timid, or Jolly, sorry. It's going to have to run Jolly, which is nice. But this thing's very fast, really high attack stat, and not Nasty Plot this time, but SD. So it does the exact same thing as those other 2, but on the physical side. You can kind of start to see the pattern here, right? Then we got Furret, which base 90 speed is already pretty fast, and 76 attack is not the greatest. But this thing gets Frisk, which is the only ability you're going to see. Can give your opponent a little bit of insight, right? So it has its niche. But this thing gets Tidy Up for some reason. Here, I think if I go to status, I can, or not status, hazard, I can show you. Yeah, this thing gets Tidy Up, which gives it +1 speed, +1 attack. So it's basically Dragon Dance, but it also gets rid of the hazards. So that's 75 or 65, 76 attack stat isn't a 76 anymore, and it's faster than your whole team. So that thing also can be very scary. Fracture. This is basically the inverse of Furret with a really high attack stat and like a pretty mediocre speed stat. But this thing gets, say it with me now, Dragon Dance. Also gets Swords Dance. Plus, this thing's going to be Eviolite. You get access to Mole Breaker, which doesn't really do too much into my team. You get rid of Levitate on Cryo, I guess. And you get rid of Water Absorb, but what Water move is Fracture clicking. But you get Dragon Dance. You make that speed stat pretty damn good because, as we'll see, +1 Rampardos. And then you get +1 attack, and you start clicking the Outrage button because I don't have Fairy type. I have 1 Dragon Resist, and it's not coming. Oh, sorry, I forgot I have more coming. Keyfly's not a rep Pokemon, let's be honest. It's only here for webs. But yeah, maybe there's some deterrent with, you know, Iron Barb, Togedemaru, that's scaring him off of Outrage, but what I know. I don't know if Fractured gets EQ yet. Yeah, I think it's still stuck with Tantrum. I think it's only Haxorus that gets EQ. But where are we? Trevenant. Now this is his first mon that's not gonna blow your face to Narnia. It's very late. My commentary is not going to be the greatest, but I'm doing my best here. This thing can be natural cure if you like soak asleep or something. Although this thing's grass types, you can't even like get spored or powdered. But you could see natural cure to like soak a burn or even a toxic. But most likely it's going to be like if it comes, I really don't think it will, but if it does, it's going to be like a harvest set. You know, your typical sunny day harvest citrus berry. Plus, setting up the sun for his Houndoom is pretty good when you consider I have no fire types and my fire type switch-ins are Rampardos. And I think, yeah, the 2 water types, but I mean, that can be, those can be chipped and blown through pretty easily. I cannot speak today. Then we got Manectric. We're back to the I'm gonna blow you up with the 105, 105. No, I think this is the first one that doesn't get consistent setup. I think it might get workup. No, it doesn't. So this thing gets like no setup. Yeah, this thing gets no setup, which is nice. But you know, lightning rod could be a problem, but it's not because we're not bringing our only electric type. So probably just static procs you might fish for, and then just, you know, stuff like Thunderbolt. This thing gets fire moves as well. But that's literally it. This thing can't be HP ice, so it's but you know, electric and fire is still good coverage. Then we have Abra, his first Terra Captain, first of 2, which is basically the same thing as Minun, but we'll get there. Abra, if you've watched my Little Cup videos, you know this thing, attack stat or speed stat is nothing to scoff at, same as Furret, same as nothing on my team, but like close to Ori, that kind of stuff. And then 105 attack is 105's attack is actually better than like literally everything that I have. So this little whatever that thing is has a higher special attack stat than my entire team. So this thing can also Terra, it gets Terra Blast, so it gets access to literally every coverage move it could want. But like only one of them, but you know what I mean. I'm pretty worried about like Terra Fighting or Terra Fire. My team doesn't really take those types too well. But then if you go just a little bit down, you got Minun, which I think is just Abra but better. Its attack stat isn't as high, but its speed stat's higher. It gets Nasty Plot, and it gets the like pretty similar coverage. But then this thing, if you go fighting and electric, you can hit everything. So I'm pretty scared of like a Terra Fighting or even Terra Fire Minun. And then the last but not least is Golem Alola. Now that it's Golem, high HP, or sorry, not high HP, high attack, high defense, and that's about it. Sturdy can be a problem, but a lot of times things ever brought, it's probably like Galvanized Boom. That's a pretty popular set. But you could expect like Air Balloon Sturdy, like that's definitely a thing that could come as well. Yeah, so that is my opponent's team. We'll jump into mine over here. So first things first, as should be expected by this point, we have Rampardos. We're back with Mold Breaker Trailblaze. Didn't work in, I think it was week 2 that I brought it, but we're hopefully going to work today. We are AV because we want to get this off in front of the Houndoom. The only problem is Dark Pulse, knock on wood, that we don't get flinch, and then we get that Trailblaze off, and then we start stone edging through his entire team. His only rock resist is Dugtrio. That's my team. His only rock resist is Dugtrio, and his only ground resist is Trevenant. So Edgequake is going to go pretty hard. And then I just threw Rock Slide in the last slot because Rampardos is so strong that a lot of times it might not matter 25 extra base power might not matter, and to have the 10 extra accuracy is always reassuring, right? And I'm not using that move slot for anything else. Next one is a AV offensive muck. This is a pretty popular set if you've ever seen muck used before, especially a lowland muck would run sets like this all the time. AV were poison touch. I opted for gunk instead of the, what is it, like 52% chance to poison. I don't remember the math exactly. But gunk, it's not a contact move, so it doesn't double up, but it's still got the 30% chance to poison off just gunk alone, and it's much stronger than poison jab. And since you're going offensive, I'm like, might as well. Knockoff should just be expected on every single one of my muck sets. Drain punch to give a bit of longevity, and then C punch just to hit some stuff, Simipour in particular, but you know, anything that's weak to electric. Then we have a Terra Ground Choice Band Firo. I'm pretty sure every time I've brought Firo, this has been roughly the set. Drill Peck, Drill Run, U-Turn, and then we're also Quick Attack because Abra does not want to, like, having just a priority move for Abra is really good. But then also, like, if his team starts getting chipped, Choice Band Quick Attacks can really start doing some damage. And obviously, right, you can double those in. Yeah, and then this thing is slower than the three things in front of it, the Doug, the Manectric, and the Simipour, which is really unfortunate that Simipour is one tier faster because then it gets to come in and click Ice Beam on me. Well, I guess if I'm Terra Ground, it can click a water move, but you get the point. Next one is a Spadef Politoed, very similar to the one we had last week, except this one has Encore, because I'm a little worried about a substitute Simipour. If I can call the sub and encore him, I can come into something that kind of threatens it, like maybe Muck, and just start, you know, throwing some punches at it, get it to switch out or something. I could probably, I don't know, I might be able to get Trailblaze off. I don't remember. I don't remember if Trailblaze boosts speed off the sub. I have to double check that before the match, but we'll see how that goes. And I'll give you the game plan when we're in the match. But then we got Marsh Stomp. Pretty standard set here. Eviolite. We are Fizzbulk because this thing is mainly here for either Fracture or Doug Trio. That's its name. We are Earthquake, hits pretty much everything, and then Ice Beam is basically the same power as Ice Punch. I think it's actually a little bit stronger. Roar and Stealth Rocks are just good moves to have. But we're mainly going to be clicking EQ with this thing. We're pretty much using it for a pivot, but if it ever is clicking a move, it's probably Rocks or EQ. And then the last but not least is Morgram. We got a bit of a funny set here. We're full Incense Trick. This thing is here for Fracture in particular, but it can also work against anything else because Fracture is most likely going to be Eviolite. So this thing can like come in on an Outrage, you Trick, give it the full Incense, so it's always slower. And then you get the Eviolite as Morgram, you have your bulk back, and then, you know, you can switch out, you can start chipping it, whatever. But can also work on pretty much anything in a pinch, right? If I can get that on Doug and then it loses its speed, so it just dies to everything, right? It's really good to make something always go last, unless I think if it's clicking a priority move, yeah, it'll go if it has a priority move. We're Pranksters, so their Trick's gonna go first. And then just some standard stuff, Light Screen, T-Wave, we're False Surrender, and then we are Fizzbulk, again, because this thing's here for the Fracture and for the Doug. That is going to be the team. Yep. And we will see you in the battle. We'll see how it goes. Peace out.